What's up, everybody? John Eric Poli here with My MMA News, and I'm excited to talk to today's guest as he is the former heavyweight champion of the world. Tim Witherspoon is joining us today. Tim, of course, is going to be fighting on June 11th. He fights Latin lover Hazel Roche. It's a celebrity boxing event. Headliner is going to be Lamar, Odom, and Aaron Carter. Tim will be fighting on their undercard, part of the pay-per-view event, and we'll give you guys the details on that pay-per-view event a little bit later on here. But let's bring Tim in here. Tim, how you doing, my man? Thank you so much for making the time to speak with us here today.
Yeah, doing fine. Nice to see you again. Everything's moving, running pretty good.
Yeah, man, it's been a little while since the last time that we spoke. What's been new with you? I know you were spending some time over there in the UK, going back and forth between kind of like Philly and the UK. Now you back in the States pretty much full time now.
Yeah, and the pandemic and the pandemic really helped, pushed me to stay home too, when that hit, because I was going to go back. We're doing little events. I did events with Evander Holy, with Sugar Ray Leonard. I did a couple, I think Evander. I did like 7 shows with Tyson, Bruno. I think I did 1 show with Lennox Lewis. So there's a lot of work over there, and I got to meet a lot of people and deal with a lot of different culture stuff. But I've been going there ever since I fought Bruno. I've been going to England. I got a grandson, and my daughter is from the UK.
Yeah, well, it's always nice whenever you get to go over there and spend some time with your family. And now, Tim, I do want to start getting into your fight a little bit now here for June 11th. But before we get into some of the fight-related things, I have to ask you, because a lot of people I'm sure are going to come off with this question. You've accomplished so much in the sport. Here you are at 63 years old. Why'd you make this decision to step back inside of the ring and to put on a show for the fans again?
Well, it's an exhibition. It's an exhibition. We're gonna go at it. I do believe that I can knock this guy out and hurt him. So I'm just gonna work with him and everything. He thinks that he can beat me. I met him like 3 times. He think he can do something because I'm 63, but he don't know that I've been training and everything. So I met him. I'm not going to be like Jake Paul and Lamar Odom pushing each other. I've been through this before. I'm not mad at Hazel. I'm not mad at him. I just want to let him know that I could beat him. That's all.
Well, you definitely have the resume to back that up there. Of course, you were a former heavyweight champion. You've been in the ring with the best of the best. And I am going to ask you a little bit about that later on. But still, I guess, sticking with the 63 theme here, it's not how old, right? It's 63 years young. Just, you're back in camp now. How's camp going, and how are you feeling as you train for this fight?
Yeah, well, I've been training. I've been training. My son has a gym up in Bristol, Pennsylvania. I've been going there and training. I've been hitting the hammer. I just like to stay active. I've seen a lot of older people deteriorate as they get older. And I said, you know what? If I sit still, and I did it one time, I hurt my back and I was out for a couple of months and I didn't like it at all. So I've been training all my life. And if you just stop for like 2 weeks, when you get older, you'll know it. So when you older you get, the more you have to be active, and that's what I'm feeling. I see guys that's 63 that I don't look that bad. 63 years old, be 64. So you got to stay active once you get past a certain age, or else it's over. And so I see that, and I'm going to keep training until I get to 80, 85. I'm going to walk. I'm going to do what I can. That helps your longevity.
I bet that it definitely does. And Tim, if you remember the last time that we spoke, it was at a Joe Madden boxing event, and there was a picture of the two of us that we took, and I was actually showing one of my coworkers the other day the photo, and I said, your fist is probably the same size as my head. Nobody's going to want to get hit with that thing. Is that kind of like the game plan for you to use, like, your big heavy hands whenever you're going to be stepping into the ring now to maybe get things done quicker? Or you feel, because back in the day when you were boxing, you were very good at covering up and being defensive. Or is that still going to be your style now as you're older now, to still be that slick defensive fighter?
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Knowledge and knowledge. I fought several persons that was stronger than me and bigger than me, had bigger hands than me. Bone Crystal Smith, I fought him twice, and the second time it was a different story. It was political, but I fought guys that was big and strong and knocked them out. It's the skills. If you have enough strength to hurt somebody, you don't have to be like Mike Tyson and George Foreman, but if you have the knowledge, you can maneuver your way in and knock your opponent out. So, um, far as far as far as being afraid of somebody that was big and strong or some, I didn't. Knowledge got me through. I knew that I was better fighter than this big strong guy, and I knew how to get to him. I had a good trainer, so I didn't fear no big and strong guys, or nothing like that because the knowledge gave me the confidence. I said, I know I can block that big right hand he throwing. I know how to block this and block that. So that's what gave me my confidence. My trainer, Slim Robinson, who trained Mike Rossman, the Jewish bomber, Ricky Parquet, a lot of other guys, he trained them. And I thank him for the skills and everything. So I'm not worried about getting in there with somebody with big hands, but I shouldn't be. I'm 63. I shouldn't be fighting now.
Well, I mean, you're saying that you shouldn't be, but you are going to do it. And there's been a lot of other people that have been doing it. Of course, we said Mike Tyson, Roy Jones recently did it, Holyfield, then McBride are scheduled. I want to get your thoughts on all this. Even Oscar De La Hoya too. He said he's going to come out of retirement and he's gonna do a boxing match as well. Just what are your thoughts on this kind of new movement in the sport that we're kind of seeing this nostalgia now? All these fighters that were so great at one time are now stepping foot inside of the ring again. People have mixed reviews on it. What is your opinion on seeing all these fighters doing this? As you're somebody that's doing it.
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of young amateurs, a lot of young champions, a lot of young professionals that's working their way up the ladder. I think this is going to hurt them guys, and I think that there should be a separate there should be a separate another group of organization for that type of entertainment. But I feel kind of funny and feel kind of like it's wrong that these type of fights are being developed out there when you got young guys training hard, managers and promoters putting money in them, and then here come a retired guy. I'm kind of like back and forth, but here's this young there's these promoters and shit. Oh, well, excuse my language. They coming in and they're creating situations. My granddaughter messed me up just now. Um, I feel bad because these young guys are training hard. There's a lot of undefeated guys, and then there's retired people coming in and messing their game plan up. So I do feel for the boxing industry, and it could be hurting these young boxers that's coming up. And sometimes I feel guilty. I'm not doing what they're doing. I'm fighting Hazel Roche. I'm fighting Hazel Roche, who's a Latin lover. He's a Latin lover, celebrity boxer. So, but if I was to fight Evander Holyfield to do an exhibition, that's good. But in a real fight, I think that there's a lot of young kids, a lot of young boxers coming up, and I think that is kind of awful that guys are coming in and why they working so hard and just getting their fight and get a big money and then leave, and then they got to work their way up the ladder, and the same money is not going to be there. I don't think. Did I say that right? You got that right.
No, listen, I understand exactly what you're saying, and I kind of agree the same thing. Like, these things are fun, and it gets a lot of hype, which is indeed good for the sport. But at the same time, like you said, there maybe should be a little bit of a side thing. And I actually really like what the official celebrity boxing that's putting this event on is doing, because they are promoting it as such. This is just a celebrity event, almost like an exhibition type. This isn't like this big to do that has to be all over the place, like watching. You're not seeing Mike Tyson from the 1980s. You're seeing Mike Tyson now. And I feel like that's the way the celebrity boxing has been going about this. I really do like the way that they're promoting this event. And now, Tim, I do want to shift gears just a little bit here because it's something you just alluded to in your last answer, and I want to get your thoughts on it more here. Evander Holyfield, you mentioned. We mentioned him earlier, too. He's fighting Kevin McBride. That fight's coming up here in the very near future. You want to get the winner of that fight right after things are all said and done here on June 11th. That's what you want your next move to be.
Well, I had a friend named Pat Chariton who's a businessman and very successful, and I'm a friend of his, and he just was wondering, I was training and everything. I told him I was training and working out and everything. And he would say, "Hey, why don't you? If I can get you," he said, "I know some important people. If I can get you a fight with Evander, would you take it?" And I was thinking, I said, "You know what? I don't wouldn't mind doing that." I did see Evander throwing some shadow boxing, and he didn't look real sharp. But that was like a month ago, so he might be sharp now. But 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 that would that would that would be that's my granddaughter. I'm sorry. Uh, um, but that wouldn't mind doing that. I wouldn't mind doing an exhibition with Tyson or any of those other guys. I wouldn't mind doing that. So, but we do have to watch. The older we are, we gotta watch getting hit on the head. So that's kind of that's kind of crazy in a way. I do want to box. I want to show people I got skills to new people that's watching all these new fights to show them that these young boxers don't have the skills that we had back in our day. I would like to get out there and like show people how certain things. But there's a price to pay if you get hit and hurt. So in a way, I don't really want to do it, and then I do want to do it because financially, I didn't take care of everything properly, and a little bit of money can help me right now. So that's what's pushing me. That's why we need. That's why we need real quick. That's why we need a union for all our boxers because when we finish, there's nobody there. There's no support for us, and we've been trying to do that. Me, Paul Johnson, and several other boxers and managers and promoters. We're trying to get a union because there's nothing left for us when our career is over. Nobody helped us. They buried Rocky Lockridge 3 weeks later because they didn't have no money. There was another Bert Cooper. Remember Bert Smoking Bert? It took him 3 weeks because there was no money. So these are some of the things that we're doing right now. So I think that's very important.
Let's talk about that then for a moment here. What are some of the talks that are going on right now? Like, is this something that could be in the very foreseeable future here, in the very near future, that there will be a union for the fighters to help them out later in their career? Is that something that you think could be done in the next few years here?
Yes, it's like for the last 10 years, I've been talking to Paul Johnson and other guys. Ever since I got ripped off in the boxing game with a promoter. For instance, I went over to England. I fought Frank Bruno. I knocked him out in the 11th round. He went home with 1,400,000, and I went home with 95,000. And I was the world champ. I was the world champ. It didn't make no sense. So ever since a lot of that stuff was going on, that's what I was really interested in and making sure that a lot of these boxers don't get ripped off. And right now today, boy, they making money. We set the pace for them. They're making really good money now. So um, years ago, this was in my mind. When I started getting ripped off, I started fighting back then. So it'd be nice if we can get some type of organization for these former boxers and the current boxers, so they don't mess their money up like me and several of the boxers that I know. They messed their money up and made a lot of money. I know somebody that made way more money than me, and they don't have it now.
That is a shame, and best of luck, Tim, as you try to get some more money there. And I hope this does work out with the unions too, because other sports indeed do have it. I think baseball has it, football definitely has it. So it would be nice to see that happen with the boxing world as well. And Tim, if it's okay now, I do want to transition into some of the memories you have from back in your day. Of course, you were a very accomplished fighter. You claimed the heavyweight title. Just what are some of the things that when you look back on your career that just stick out to you right off the top of your head?
Fighting in the amateurs, fighting Marvis Frazier, Joe Frazier's son, was a lift. Even though I lost the decision, but I felt I won. Um, just sparring with Jerry Cooney several times, sparring with a lot of different people, man. I was sparring with a lot of different people, becoming heavyweight champ of the world. But really, originally, I was groomed to be a tight end on a football team, And I was all Philadelphia. I was a tight end. I went to university. I got hurt. I'm really satisfied about what happened to me in my life. I'm not crying over spilt milk, even though my financial part of my career wasn't the best. I wasn't taken care of. I'm like right now with my grandkids and my daughter, and we having fun, even though they're getting in the way of my interview. Uh, yeah, but fighting Larry Holmes, fighting Bone Crusher twice. I won the first time. I threw the second fight. A lot of people don't believe it that I threw the second fight with Bone Crusher. I feel sorry for Bone Crusher because he believed he did it. And if you look at the fight, I never got hit. The best thing that happened in that fight, he knocked out a teeth that I was supposed to get extracted. And after the fight, it was knocked out, and I was happy, and I had to go do it. Other than that, um, there's a lot of great things. Going to England, knocking Frank Bruno out with 60,000 people, 65,000 people in the stadium, um, throwing stuff at us, screaming at us. My dream came true. I went over to somebody else's backyard and knocked them out and was victorious. And you know what? I'm just proud of that. That's all. I don't have to have money. I don't have, I didn't even realize it and I made it. I made it. Two-time heavyweight, the real Rocky from Philly, the real two-time heavyweight champ from Philly. The ones that ran up the step, and the one I live 5 minutes from the Italian market, where Rocky was in the Italian market. I live 5 minutes walking distance, and I'm the real two-time heavyweight champ from Philly. So really, I'm satisfied. There's a lot of people in the world that had worse things done to them or bad things done to them or whatever. I'm just happy. It's all over. A lot of negative stuff happened, but there's a lot in front of us. A lot of people in this world should realize there's a future. There's children. If things happen to you, forget about them. Let's go forward, or fix them. Whatever it is, let's fix them and go forward. This world is beautiful. There's a lot of beautiful people in it. There's a lot of negative things happening. But everybody, we got to wake up and just make everything good for our kids. If you care about this world, if you care about your kids, you'll care about your neighbor, you care about everybody else, and we'll do the right thing.
That's a great message, Tim. And
Yeah.
as we wrap things up here, I just got two more questions for you. The first, which still on
I bored you. Did I bore you with that?
You did not bore me with that. No. It was a great answer.
Okay.
I liked all of that, especially the Rocky thing, being an Italian. I really did like to talk about the Italian market and everything.
I grew up with the Italians. I grew up with the Italians and the Irish. Yeah. When we went to school, we walked through I didn't mean to cut you off. When I went to school from first grade to eighth grade, we went in the Irish neighborhood. From ninth to 12th, we went into the Italian neighborhood. But we interact with the Italians and the Irish. But I'm gonna tell you something. When I was little, we didn't leave outside our neighborhood. When I was little, we didn't go into the Italian neighborhood or we didn't go into the Irish neighborhood. We stayed in our area when I was little. We didn't go out. But during the day, we had to walk to school with crowds with like maybe 15 people because we would get attacked all the time. But now it's beautiful. In my neighborhood, you can white people, black people, Italian, Irish, any Spanish could walk in and out the neighborhood I was raised in. And that's what's so beautiful about everything. We can do it now. But before 5 o'clock, you don't go past a certain area.
It is something how much the world has changed in the last however many years. It's definitely a lot different, and I know even talking to my parents and grandparents, they said a lot of the similar stories that you were talking to there. Things have completely evolved in the world, and it's nice to see everybody coming together finally. Tim, one of the things I did want to ask you about when we were talking about things in the past, I wanted to ask you about Muhammad Ali. You were a training partner of his. You guys spent a lot of time together. Just what was Muhammad like, not only as a fighter, but just as a man? Because everybody says that he was one of a kind.
Well, he said he was the greatest of all times, and he boxed. He won those fights. personally, he was a better person than he was a boxer. He was a nice person, and I'm not claiming that I was with him every day for 100 years. He was my best friend, or any. He had so many friends that loved him. There was no time to tell anybody, "Oh, yeah, me and him was real tight." But he would actually, when I was sparring with, he would actually, people would sneak past the guards through the woods and go around and knock on his door and wake him up. He would stop the guards, his security, from messing with the people. And he was sleeping. He would no, let him come. And they would sneak around the back near the kitchen. They would sneak around and knock on his door. They knew where his door was, and he would get out his bed for anybody. And that's what I liked about him. We went to Indonesia. We was in Indonesia together. We was down in the islands, the Canary Islands. I mean, down south of Florida. We was down there. We was in a lot of different places. I was also out. I was also like, I was like when Veronica Porsche, his wife at the time, we suspected that a sparring partner was trying to get with his girlfriend. I mean, his wife, Veronica. So Ali, there's a guy named Aaron Snowell who trained boxers. Now he was in my corner. He was my second. We was around the camp, and Ali told us to keep an eye out on her. So workout was finished. So everybody getting ready to go down to this place called the Ollie down 61. It's down up there in Deer Lake at 61. There's a little disco. So we followed them all the way down there. Me and Aaron followed them down. So everybody in there dancing, and they were slow dancing. So we got back in the car and we drove up to Ali's camp and knocked on and said, Ali, said, "Man, we got him. We got him. Is this guy Mike?" Sorry. Is this guy Mike? I'm sorry. Is this guy Mike? So we got Ali in the car, Muhammad in the car, and we drove up to the disco, and we went in the disco, and Muhammad said, "Look, go find them about where they are." So we went over there. They was dancing on another slow record. So we pointed to him, and Ali, and I said, "Ali, over there, over there." So Ali walked towards them, and the people parted like Moses split that water. Remember when Moses split the water? That's how it was. And he caught her. He caught her. And then I felt kind of bad afterwards, but I was doing it for the chant. So we snitched on her, and I hope we still could be friends. And he went back to the Ali's camp, and I heard that he did something that Muslims do. I think he spanked her on the leg a couple of times with a strap. So that's a story. Yeah, that's a story that's one of my favorites right there. We snitched on her, and I was cool with Veronica. I was cool with her, but I had to do it for the chant. And I don't know what happened to Mike. What happened with Mike was we all sparred him the next day. Me, Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, the light heavyweight champion of the world. We all beat him up, and then I didn't get a chance to box him. Eddie beat him up, and then Ali got him last, and Ali tore him up. And I think he still stayed in the camp and stuff. His name was Mike. He was from the West Coast, and he came in there and had the nerve to try to talk to the greatest of all time's wife.
That is really an incredible story. Holy crap. And one of the names that you just brought up there, Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, of course, he's now with the Mayweather camp. He trains a lot of guys out there. Are you still in contact with him? Do you ever connect with him or no?
I contact, I was his sparring partner. I sparred with him, Jerry Cooney, Mike Rossman, Saad Muhammad, you name it. Dwight Muhammad Kwawi. I had a chance to spar with all of them. Every once in a while, I'll talk to Mustafa, say hi and everything. And I was friends with everybody. I didn't want no enemies in this world. We don't have no time for that. And so I was like friends with everybody, even guys that I fight. I'm cool with Ray Mercer, you name it. Those guys, Bone Crusher's still mad though. Bone Crusher is upset because he don't think I took a dive on that when I fought him the second time. But I knew that if I fight Bone Crusher and win, I was only going to get $500,000 to fight Mike Tyson. So that's the real reason. One of the reasons why I took the dive, because I fought Frank Bruno and only got $95,000. I should have got 2.5 million. And I found out that Don King main interest was only in Mike Tyson. So he didn't care about me or Bone Crusher. I was just a pawn in the chess game. So I fought him the first time. I shut him out 11 rounds. I beat him. I beat almost every round. And then the second time I was supposed to fight Tony Tubbs. And Tubbs came out with a shoulder injury. So I said, no, I'm supposed to fight Tony Tubbs. I'll wait. So they threatened me and everything. They forced me to fight him. And I wasn't in no shape. So I took the fight. And I told everybody in the corner, look, I told Aaron Snowell, find out if it's a 3 knockdown rule and get the lawyer to do it. And the lawyer found out it was a 3 knockdown rule. And so I decided, if you look at the second Bone Crusher fight, I wasn't even hurt and I was happy. After the fight, I spit that teeth out that he hit. I spit it out. My brother picked it up and saved it for me. And then I just went on with my life. I left Don after the Bone Crusher fight. So I feel bad for Bone Crusher because he think he really knocked me out. Watch the first Bone Crusher where I just shut him out, and the second Bone Crusher, you could tell the difference.
So I know you're talking about Don King there. I guess I'll ask you about this too before we head out here. I know there's been a lot of speculation over the years. A lot of people said that he treated fighters badly. I'm guessing you're one of these people. It seems like you don't have a lot of good things to say about Don King.
Well, just the thing. I heard about Don in the beginning. I had a manager. When I first started, I heard about Don. I had a manager named Mark Stewart, who was like Mike Tyson's managers, Jones and Rappaport. Gave me everything I needed. Got me undefeated. I was 14-0. We had a place to stay. We got money every week. He said he's gonna make Don King pay. I had a good situation. And then you might know this story. It was a dentist named Larry Levin, Dr. Snow in Philly. He was a dentist and he got caught selling drugs. But my management was Mark Stewart, and all of them was together. It was Mark Stewart. So if you type in Larry Levin, they called him Dr. Snow. He was a dentist in Philly. And we didn't know it, but I was wondering why people in the office were sniffing all the time. They were sniffing, and some of the secretaries, they was acting all like they was like intoxicated and everything. And so when he got busted, that's when we went downhill. Me and my brother Anthony. My brother Anthony was 14-0 with 14 knockouts. He could really punch, my brother Anthony. And so he didn't want to go with Don King. He didn't want to go with Don, so he went downhill. He lost a couple of fights after that. I had to go. I just said, man, we just got to go. So after all this stuff, everybody talking about Don King and all the things he did, and nothing really materialized, I decided to just leave it alone. Last time I met Don King, I flew into Vegas or California, I think it was. I was on the side of this Irish boxer who was getting ripped off. So I was staying on his side like this, you can't be ripping him off, talking and stuff. So after the fight, he lost. After the fight, Don King came over to me. He was walking towards me, and I thought something was kind of odd. And he put his arms out and hugged me. And I hugged him back. And I said, wow, am I actually doing this? I said, okay, love you. He said, I love you, Tim. I said, I love you, Don. And then I felt some kind of like, I can live again. I said, I love you. He said he loved me. I left it alone. I don't really care if you ask me about Don, I'll tell you what happened. But I'm not really concerned about beating on that drum about Don King anymore because nobody helped us. It's over. I'm gonna go on with my life. You see, I'm here with my grandkids. I'm having fun. If you want to talk about Don King, we could do it in an interview, but I don't want to hear. I don't really want to keep talking about it. You ask me, and I'm letting you know the truth. I really not concerned about with Don King. I am concerned about what he did, but it's over. I'm on with my life, and I'm happy. So that's really important instead of talking about Don King. Don King. No, man, it's over. That's the greatest promoter that ever lived, and he messed it. He messing it up. He messed it up by robbing people. He was colorful. He had his hair up. He had the right words to say to people, and they loved him. Everybody, all nationalities. Why did he steal from people? He could have went down as the greatest of all times, like Muhammad Ali. So I just really don't have really. If you ask me on the interview, I'll tell you the specifics, but really, it's over. It's over. I really want to help the boxers out, and let's go forward. And if anybody try to hurt boxers financially in the game and other things, we got to talk to them and straighten them out.
I understand, and time does move on, and it's nice that you were able to kind of put that behind you there. And
Yeah.
Tim, one last thing now before we roll out here. I do want to get your thoughts. It seems like Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury. We've been having this conversation, it seems like, for like 3 years now, but it looks like it's finally in fruition here. It looks like in August, it seems that it's finally going to happen. What are your early thoughts on this matchup?
Well, I spent time in England with Joshua. I was in England. I was going back and forth. My daughter's from there. Like I said, I got a grandson there. I met him on the train. I did several shows with him. A really nice guy. He lacks skills, and we're going to talk about it. The really nice guy. I've been trying my hardest to get with his team to help him. They didn't even have to pay me, even though I know they didn't even have to pay me. He has a he he's strong, but he don't have skills. He got skills, but he don't have the skills that's gonna take him. Let me say this. At any given time, any two boxers can end the fight with a punch. But if you have skills, that'll guarantee you the percentage of you winning will be higher if you had skills. I, and even on the videos, he be having the videos he be posting. Back in the day, we would tell boxer trainers or boxers, don't put that up there because your opponent can capitalize on how much your knowledge. So he's been putting up videos, and I'll be saying, oh, and they look really amateurish, and he don't know what he's doing. His management don't know. His promoters don't know you don't supposed to do that. Dennis Rappaport, Bob Arum, you have a lot of these good promoters in America, they would never do that. So the managers and the promoters shouldn't allow him to do stuff like that. But in terms of the fight, him and Tyson Fury, I think Tyson Fury has the heart. Tyson Fury has skills. They're awkward. His skills is awkward. The way he moves around. I do believe that if any one of the boxers can end the fight with a punch, but the one that has more skills, I think, has a better percentage of winning. So when Anthony Joshua fought that fight and he ran, that made him look bad. Remember that fight? He ran. Who was that boxer? Yeah, he said hit and run. Why did he do that? When I called a lot of people over England, said, why did they do that? What kind of plan did they have? It made him look bad. He has a legacy, and when his legacy is over, he want people to respect it and everything. So he ran. I would have never told him to run. And then they let him talk on the interview. When they should have told them stuff, they should have gave them information what to say and what not to say. See, the promoters and the manager has a play in this too. They can't just let their boxers say anything they want because it'll mess them up. So he has to either stay away from some words that'll make him look bad, right? Or whatever. The thing is that I think Joshua physically and Tyson Fury physically, they could knock each other and win. I don't really get excited when I see the bell ring, but all the stuff that builds up to the fight is beautiful. But as soon as the bell ring, I just don't see skills. To me, I just don't see it like we used to see it back in the day. You want to ask me who you think going to win? I think that the person that hit get a good shot on the other one is going to win, but the one that has more skills got a better chance of winning. So I don't really see a lot of skills. Even with Tyson Fury, I see him moving, but it don't look like when back in our days. and they get the job done. You don't know nobody in the top 15. You don't know nobody in the top 15. But when I was fighting, you knew from 1 to 15 who the boxers were. But now I don't know who. I don't even know who. Say like it's 1 to 15. I don't even know who's 1 and 2 and 3. Well, 3 and 4. Let's say 3, 4, and 5. I don't even know who that is. I never heard of them. But in my day, you knew who it was. It was either Tony Tucker or David Bay or Mitch Green or somebody like that. But now I don't even know who they're fighting. So that's what we're up against today, these days, when the boxing game. I hope the best man win. I try to help Anthony Joshua. I called them so many times. Tyson Fury is like Frank Sinatra. He do it his way. You know, you can't tell Tyson Fury a lot of things because he'll do it. He does things his way, and he'll tell you. But Anthony Joshua needs a lot more skills. I'm not saying he's not going to win the fight, but to make the job easier, he could have brought a guy. So I was trying to come in there to show him some stuff, some defense, and all that. But the management is keeping everybody away from him. And I dug a have English people was calling me and telling me they was trying to help, but money is good. They're making money, but my thing is teaching them. And when he win the fight, he said, "Yo, Tim Witherspoon helped me." And money will come, but that's my real motive was because I like the guy. He's a real nice guy, but his management and his promotion, they're making a lot of money. But when it comes to his legacy, if he loses this fight, he'll have that money, but then he'll go down in history as not somebody that's really skillful and all that. So you got to look at a whole lot of different things when you have these boxers. You want them to go down as some of the best, like Ali, or you want them to, just want them to prosper and stuff like that. But they don't care. They're getting that money, the $100 million. They don't care what his legacy is, So that's the thing. I was going to get in there and just show him a couple of things and just how to block a jab. He don't even know how to block a jab. Because everybody, when the bell rings, that's the first ammunition everybody throws a jab. Learn them, teach them how to block the jab. Don't slap at it. Let it come to you. Catch it. Don't slap, right? Keep your defense tight. Catch, counter. He don't know how to do that. Little stuff. So I hope he win. The best man win. I hope the best man win because I spent time with Tyson Fury too. The Gypsies, boy, there's some bad boys. The women are tough. I went up there in Manchester. Man, they do not play. You walk in there, and you know what? They don't call the police. If anything happened in their community, they handle it themselves. And I said, well, that's something new. They don't call the police. They don't call the police. Me and my daughter, we went in there. I was with Tyson Fury, his father, all the Gypsies, Sanders, Billy Joe Sanders. I remember Billy Joe. I was with them guys. They got a unique culture over there, man. And I just thank God that I had a chance to deal with a lot of different people and go around. That's all.
All right, Tim, thanks for sharing your thoughts on that fight, and thank you so much for all that you've talked about here today. We talked on a lot of different issues. Your mind is very sharp with the sport here, and it's always great to talk to you and hear some of the different ins and outs about the sport of boxing. I always appreciate the time, Tim, and thank you so much for it. And for everybody out there, to that fight with Tim and Hazel Roche, it goes down on June 11th. The pay-per-view is $29.99. The event is being held at the Showboat Hotel in Atlantic City. If you'd like more information on the event or the pay-per-view, you can visit officialcelebrityboxing.com. There you'll see all the information about the fight and where you can buy the pay-per-view at. And that's about all the time that we have here for today. Just before I roll out, just quickly want to tell you guys, subscribe to this YouTube channel. You'll see more great interviews just like this one. And remember to keep going to MyMMANews as well. We'll see you later, everybody.